Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel, and in today's video we are going to be covering The Punisher, released in 1998 on the Kill Count. This movie follows Frank Castle, played by Dolph Lundgren, who, after the death of his wife and two children, takes on the mantle Punisher and becomes an anti-hero. A pretty typical Punisher story. Well, the movie picks up 5 years after Frank first started killing as the Punisher, and he has racked up a real collection of numbers, killing 125 gang members from various different crime families. We learn this in a news broadcast where we also learn that a crime boss known as Dino Moretti gets out of prison that same day. Dino Moretti ends up in one of his mansions to finally relax after being in prison for so long. First, he sends his men to make sure that there are no Punishers scurrying around the place. Well, the men he sends end up getting killed by the Punisher. Frank ends up killing 3, to be exact. Frank then proceeds to blow up the place, killing Dean Moretti. We then see Frank in the sewers, looking very oily and very naked, praying to God, asking why the innocent are dead and the guilty are alive. We also get a little bit more backstory into how his family died. Someone seemed to incapacitate them inside of a car and then blow up the car. Frank tried to get them out, banging on the door with desperation, but unfortunately he couldn't. We cut to Jake Berkowitz, who is the lead detective on the Punisher Task Force, a task force in the NYPD who is trying to take down the Punisher. Jake is at the crime scene of Dino Moretti when he is approached by Detective Sam Leary. Sam approaches Jake with the idea of being Jake's partner. However, Jake works alone. The last partner Jake had was Frank Castle, who he believes died in a gang-related accident, along with his children. Kinda. He's a little on the fence about whether or not he believes Frank Castle is the Punisher. At least when Sam brings it up, it definitely piques his interest. Gianni Franco flies back in from Europe with his son Tommy, and they meet up with one of the members of their crime family. And Tommy says the funniest fucking line ever. I quote it all the fucking time. So Tommy went to a bigwig fancy school, I guess, and shows the member a magic trick he learned. Tommy asks the guy, "You got a quarter? You got a quarter? You got a quarter?" In the most New York fucking accent of all time. It's hilarious. Anyway, after Gianni sends Tommy away, he talks business and discusses a 500-kilo drug deal at the docks for $500 million. Frank meets up with a drunken homeless man named Shake, because Shake has some information about the location of the drug deal we just learned about. And in exchange, he'd get some liquor. However, the location isn't the big story. Apparently, all of the crime families in New York are working together now, all under the watch of Gianni Frank. The next scene is at said drug deal, at Pier 30. Someone is checking up on Red 1 and Red 2, and although they seem fine, with more quotable New York accent phrases, both of them died to the Punisher, bringing our total up to 134 killed. 6 more people pull in on a boat, who are all killed by members of the Yakuza, who were undercover as the Coast Guard. After this, I get a little confused as to who everyone is and where they're all at, but I at least know how many people died. 20 gang members were killed by Yakuza members and the Punisher. Those were the only bodies during the drug deal. Frank gets chased down by the Yakuza and gets a knife in the shoulder. However, he's able to get away by jumping in the water. After the drug deal fails on the pier, the Yakuza approach Gianni and the other crime bosses with an offer. The Yakuza get 75% of all profits, whereas the rest of the crime families in New York get 25%. Gianni doesn't accept this offer, but Lady Tanaka, a boss in the Yakuza, has already taken measures to blackmail them into accepting the offer. Lady Tanaka has stolen the children of every single one of the major crime bosses in New York, killing a preschool teacher in the process. Shake ends up convincing Punisher to save the children of the crime bosses. He tells Frank that the Punisher punishes the evil while the innocent suffer because of it, and that is convincing enough. Meanwhile, the crime bosses meet up to discuss how they're going to get their children back. Gianni Franco tells a story of Lady Tanaka, how when she was a kid, her brother stole a bunch of money from the Yakuza. So to prove Lady Tanaka's loyalty, the Yakuza had her kill her own brother by slitting his throat. Gianni also says that the only way to get their children back is the Punisher. We find ourselves following what I presume to be a stripper clocking in to work at an underground casino for mobsters and gang members that is also probably run by the Yakuza. Punisher crashes the party, fucking lighting up the place, looking like Arnold Schwarzenegger in Predator. During his little happy time, he ends up killing one Yakuza member, not before killing a different Yakuza member by throwing a knife into his neck. Frank grabs a member of the Yakuza and tells them that every day that the kids are not set free, it'll cost them money. In the next scene, Punisher and Shake pull up to an amusement park to go retrieve the kids. During the rescue mission, Punisher starts out by killing 8 members of the Yakuza. Later on, however, Punisher gets overrun and captured. Lady Tanaka hooks him up to a doctor's bed thing and chains his arms and legs to either side. Very kinky. She starts to turn the wheel, forcing his body to stretch out. Oh, and also Shake got captured too, and they started stretching him out as well. Once Lady Tanaka leaves, Frank is able to escape, kills 2 Yakuza members, and leaves another to be stretched out on the other table, bringing our total to 175 kills. Also, I guess this isn't the place where the children are being held. I don't know, maybe they moved them once they learned the Punisher was coming or something. While Sam and Jake are searching the sewers in hopes of finding the Punisher, Jake tells Sam why he doesn't have a partner anymore. Jake had a big drinking problem. He would drink before work, during work, after work, and instead of work. One day, a detective named Frank Castle came into his life and wanted to learn the ways of being a cop from the guy who wrote the book on catching bad guys. So, Frank helped Jake get his life back together, taught him how to be a cop again. In return, Jake would help him out. This is partly the reason I believe Jake does think that Frank Castle is the Punisher. Jake got very attached to Frank, and that's why he's so determined to stop the Punisher, because he has some sort of emotional attachment to the case. Either Jake thinks he can fix Frank and bring him back to his old life, back to being his partner, or he just wants to see Frank behind bars. Meanwhile, some of the crime bosses are meeting up to try and find a way to get their children back, when the party is crashed by the Yakuza. The Yakuza killed their 2 bodyguards, and 3 of the crime bosses died from the champagne being poisoned. However, one of them didn't drink the champagne because he's on medication, so they just shoot him instead. Frank ends up stealing a bus and taking it to where he was told the kids would be. Lo and behold, the kids are actually here. Frank kills the 2 Yakuza members escorting the kids. However, it's revealed that Gianni's kid, Tommy, was held separately and wasn't going to be escorted, I guess. There's also some girl, Kathy, that wasn't with the group of kids. While escaping, Tommy tries to be a hero and save the Punisher, but just gets himself captured again. Kathy makes it out, though. During Frank's mad escape in the bus, 3 more Yakuza members end up dying. 1 got run over by some of his buddies, and 2 more crashed into a U-Haul. Punisher's rampage is eventually stopped by the cops, where Frank is forced to surrender the kids and himself. Frank is being held up in a prison cell, and when Jake goes to see him, he gets a little emotional. Frank really does not seem to care, though. He's stone cold. On the way to his execution, Sam really digs into him, telling Frank that Jake knew the whole time that it was Frank, never doubted it for a second. All Jake wanted to do was help Frank with the trauma of his family and stop him from killing any more criminals. The conversation is interrupted, however, by Frank getting kidnapped by Gianni Franco. Gianni tells Frank that he will go and retrieve his son, Tommy, and in return, Gianni won't kill Frank's partner, Jake, which, to me, feels a little unnecessary. I mean, Frank was gonna go get Tommy anyway. All you had to do was set him free and help him with his equipment and shit. Frank might have not wanted to work with criminals, but it's not like Frank just wasn't gonna go and get Tommy back. If Tommy hadn't got captured again, he would have been saved. That was his intention in the beginning. That's where our final battle will be. Gianni Franco and Frank Castle gearing up and teaming up to take down Lady Tanaka, boss of the Yakuza, going to get back Tommy Franco, Gianni's son. Frank and Shake say their farewells and they're on their way. During the recon mission, Frank shoots 1 Yakuza member, bringing our total up to 187 kills. After that, they take the elevator down and begin killing. Gianni and Frank both end up killing 30 unnamed Yakuza members, bringing our total up to 217 kills. 1 also unnamed Yakuza member, but still relevant enough character, is this blonde ninja chick that showed up once or twice before. Yeah, she gets killed by Frank as well. He snaps her neck. Lady Tanaka has Tommy at knife point and forces Gianni to shoot himself. However, before Gianni can go through with it, Frank bursts into the room like the Kool-Aid Man and throws a knife into her head. Which, I gotta say, throughout this entire fucking movie, Frank has impeccable fucking aim with the knife throws. Gianni reunites with his son, sends him on his way, and then decides to try and kill Frank. Come on, dude. I understand you're evil and all, but have some morality. However, Frank is able to get the gun away, and after some wrestling and tussling, Frank shoots him in the heart, I think? It's a little hard to tell. Tommy grabs the gun and is about to shoot Frank, but can't go through with it. As Frank is about to leave, he gives Tommy some insightful words, and leaves to wherever the fuck he's going. Oh, wait, I know where he went. He went back to the sewers to go pray while being naked and oily. And that's the film. This movie was actually really good. I liked the story and the concept. I loved the Yakuza as a villain. They were dope. Dolph Lundgren did a great adaptation of Frank Castle. And actually, Dolph Lundgren makes a cameo in The Punisher from 2004 with Thomas Jane as one of John Travolta's henchmen. A cool fun fact, in the main scene that Dolph is in, when he's fighting the Punisher, Frank stabs Dolph's character with a knife, but the prop knife that they were supposed to use got swapped out with a real knife, and Dolph actually got stabbed by Thomas Jane, but they just kept on filming. Well, that's going to do it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you enjoyed this video in particular, please consider leaving a like on it. And if you enjoy all my videos as a whole, please consider subscribing. It's totally free, and you don't have to if you don't want to. Um, but yeah, that's another Marvel movie down. Um, this one was really good. I liked it a lot. I liked writing the script for it too. I think I'm definitely gonna continue with script writing for kill counts from now on. It definitely means that they're going to be a little less consistent, but I plan on doing. I still plan on releasing every single Marvel kill count before the release of um, Avengers Doomsday. So hopefully that will still happen. But that's gonna do it for me. I hope you all enjoyed. Peace.